Some priests are curious if stigmata have really appeared. They wonder if the next vetting might reveal someone from the Duc de Love family or maybe the dead-blown family. However, they conclude it's not from any of those families. Instead, it's someone who has lived in Schubert all her life. The Eden Baroque Empire is described as a land of blessing, built with the blessing of Eden Venus. However, it's acknowledged that the Eden Baroque Empire has a dark side, exemplified by 6th Avenue in Schubert, reputed to be the worst. A nameless child abandoned there depicts it as a place rife with crime, where the air is heavy with the smell of alcohol and acrid cigarettes. Despite this, the child feels it doesn't matter because a family welcomes her, Violetta, who's like a mother to her, and Renal, both a brother and a friend. Beata is said to be serving a well-known family of cousins, is considered much more beautiful than the cousins themselves. However, she is looked upon with disdain by those who are not members of her family. One night, the health of a little girl deteriorates. Violetta, placing her hand on the girl's forehead to check, wonders if she's okay. She notes it's strange because the girl seemed fine during the day. She can't understand how the girl could suddenly fall ill and questions if the girl has encountered anything unusual. The girl weakly indicates that she is not well. Violetta turns to Renal, asking if he knows something. Renal starts to say he knows a little bit from earlier, but upon seeing the girl's look, he hesitates and denies knowing anything. Violetta is concerned about the girl's condition and questions whether she can endure until the morning. The girl, making a cute face, suggests to Violetta that she might feel better if she eats a very cool ice cream. Violetta responds that she cannot be fooled. The girl insists she is not trying to trick her, but Violetta remains firm, questioning how the girl can think of having ice cream when she's sick and cold. The girl thinks to herself that although she is in a lot of pain, she does not want to cause Violetta any worry. She realizes that if Violetta does not go out to work, no one will have food, and she feels she should not hold Violetta back just because she is sick. Renal, holding the girl's hand and smiling, reassures her that it's okay because he will be watching over her. He then tells Violetta that she can go to bed since she needs to rest for work the next day. Violetta responds that she can go to work in the evening the following day and expresses her concern about leaving a sick person alone. The girl, smiling, expresses her gratitude to Violetta, saying she is actually happy because Violetta takes care of her. Suddenly, Violetta notices a mark on the girl's hand and exclaims in shock. She grabs the girl's hand, looking at it anxiously, and asks the girl about the mark. The girl, confused, responds with a question of her own. Violetta, still alarmed, inquires how long the mark has been on the girl's right hand. The girl, now apprehensive, calls out to Violetta and, feeling scared, asks what is wrong. The frightened girl thinks to herself that she has never seen Violetta like this before and wonders if Violetta is angry. Hesitating, she tries to explain to Violetta that it's not what it seems, something happened earlier that night, but she can't quite understand it herself. Violetta, in response, questions with disbelief whether the girl truly does not know. Violetta takes a cloth and ties it around the girl's hand to cover the mark so that it is not visible to anyone. The girl asks Violetta why she is doing this, expressing her discomfort. Violetta, struck by the mark, remains silent as she prepares to leave, telling both the girl and Renal to go to bed first and never remove the cloth. Renal asks Violetta where she is going at this late hour. Violetta responds by telling Renal not to go anywhere and to take care of the girl and the mark, emphasizing that it must not be shown to anyone. Renal acknowledges and agrees, allowing Violetta to leave. The girl thinks to herself, questioning why Violetta is acting in such a manner. Violetta contemplates the mark, wondering if it could be something positive. She is certain the pattern must be the Wesen marks, which are said to appear only on the chosen one. This leads her to speculate whether the girl could possibly be a saint. Violetta, trembling, exclaims that it's a significant problem. The pattern engraved on the back of the hand is identified as the very mark of the saint's womb, known as the divine pattern of Wesen. It signifies the evidence of a celestial being who can manipulate divine power at will, listen to the voice of God, and purify the power of darkness. The saintess has always been chosen by an oracle, and their presence has been instrumental in solidifying the power of the Eden Baroque. However, it is lamented that over the past 100 years, no new oracle has descended to earth, leading to a decline in the priest's trust and the empire beginning to walk the path of downfall. Violetta reflects on the child, acknowledging that she is just an ordinary girl and quite different from the previous saint. She is seen as an ordinary and weak troublemaker. Violetta contemplates what to do, fearing that if Scar, the head of this place, learns about the child's mark, he will not ignore it. She believes that Scar will try to exploit the child for profit at any cost and that something terrible might happen to her. Determined, Violetta resolves that she cannot allow such a thing to happen and is adamant that she will not let the child end up like herself. Violetta meets Natasha and greets her. Natasha, surprised, asks Violetta what she's doing up so early in the morning. Violetta, seeking companionship, invites her sister to have a drink together. Natasha inquires about the children, and Violetta assures her that they are fine and have been put to sleep. Natasha then mentions that she heard about the saint's stigmata appearing on the child and suggests talking to Scar about it. Violetta reacts incredulously, reminding Natasha of the kind of person Scar is. Natasha acknowledges Scar's frightening nature but implies that Violetta still has some concern for him. Despite Natasha herself lacking the confidence to deal with him, she suggests that Violetta might feel the same way. Violetta holds Natasha's hand and tells her that she's not forcing her to help, but just to keep the secret. She assures Natasha that she will ensure her sister does not get hurt. Violetta expresses her gratitude for Natasha's willingness to listen despite being tired and says she will now go back. Natasha responds to Violetta, questioning how she could pretend not to know when Violetta is being so open. She then asks Violetta what she plans to do. Violetta reveals that she has to take the child to the temple as it is the safest option. Natasha questions whether Violetta would just accept a child she knows nothing about. Violetta admits that she needs to figure it out somehow. Natasha advises Violetta to go back first as people might start coming to watch them. The girl wakes up from her sleep and notices Violetta. She thinks to herself that Violetta usually laughs and chats when she's with her friends, but today, for some reason, she looks sad. Violetta, noticing the girl awake, asks if the noise woke her up and suggests that she should sleep a little longer because they will have a lot to do tomorrow morning. Violetta observes that the girl's clothes have become smaller. The girl, smiling, assures Violetta that it's not the case and expresses her fondness for the clothes, saying they are beautiful and she likes them. Violetta, seeing the girl happy, sighs and embraces her, advising her to live well wherever she goes and to endure no matter what happens. The girl, confused, calls out to Violetta seeking clarification. Afterward, the girl asks Violetta where they are going, expressing her fear. Violetta reassures the girl that they are going to a better place. The girl, becoming sad, thinks to herself that being by Violetta's side is the best place for her. Violetta takes the girl to the temple. She greets the priest and then prompts the girl to greet him as well. The girl hesitates but manages to say hello to the priest. Violetta offers her respects to the priest and thanks him for his time. The priest acknowledges that it's not a problem and mentions that he has heard Violetta has something to tell him. Violetta then asks the girl to give her hand, but the girl, feeling scared, resists. Violetta urges the girl to hurry. The priest, upon seeing the girl's hand, is astounded and seems to recognize the significance of what he sees. He communicates his understanding to Violetta. Meanwhile, the girl is frightened and admits to herself that she has no idea what is happening. Violetta bows before the priest, expressing her gratitude, and then begins to leave. The girl, puzzled by Violetta's departure, clings to her clothes and pleads with her, asking where she's going and if Violetta is going to abandon her. The girl insists that she hasn't done anything wrong and begs Violetta not to leave her, promising that she is not sick anymore, that she won't complain of pain or hunger and that she will obey everything Violetta says. However, the priest restrains the baby, addressing her as a saintess, while the baby continues to cry out to Violetta, pleading with her. The baby is saddened, thinking that Violetta has abandoned her because she didn't listen or because she was troublesome. The sudden departure of such a young saint caught everyone off guard. Following this, the priests gathered to discuss the baby's situation. One priest, clearly angry, questions if it's even possible that they are welcoming a beggar. A nun suggests that calling the child a beggar might be a bit harsh. The priest insists there's nothing wrong with the term and expresses his frustration, having devoted his life to the day he would welcome a saint. Nun acknowledges this but points out that until now, all the saints have been noble heirs. The priest dressed in white questions the angry priest about the importance of class when it comes to the trust of the mark, which has always been with the privileged. He challenges the necessity of such useless labels, reminding them that they are all beings following the gods. The angry priest responds with concern about whether the imperial citizens will accept a saint with an unclear background, especially when the annual donations to the temple are decreasing and faith in the empire and the gods is declining day by day. He wonders if the people will remain passive in such a situation. Baby Saint has a flashback. She remembers running towards Violetta and crying out, "Violetta, ouch." Violetta responds with concern, asking if she hadn't reminded her to avoid running carelessly and questioning where she was hurt. Baby reassures her that she's fine, but more importantly, she has something important to say. She earnestly tells Violetta that once she grows up, she intends to treat her with luxury. Violetta, amused, asks if Baby ran all the way just to tell her that. Baby affirms with sincerity that she is not joking. Violetta questions Baby with a hint of amusement, asking how Baby plans to treat her luxuriously. Baby responds with enthusiasm, explaining that by earning a lot of money, she will pamper Violetta so that she can play and eat to her heart's content. Violetta embraces Baby and expresses that even without being pampered and full, she's content enough with their company. Baby then declares to Violetta that when both Violetta and Renal grow up, she will ensure that they live in a place resembling a palace. Violetta reacts with surprise and delight, asking if Baby means that she plans not to leave her sister behind. Baby confirms emphatically, suggesting that they should make a promise with Violetta as well. She proposes that if they promise with their pinky fingers, the three of them will live together forever. Violetta, smiling, makes a pinky promise with Baby. A saddened Baby Saint looks at her pinky finger and wonders why, despite their promise, Violetta abandoned her after she changed. She expresses her fear and reluctance to become something like a saint, feeling scared and alone. As she remembers Violetta and Renal, tears begin to fall from her eyes. Overwhelmed by the coldness and loneliness, Priest Dien goes to meet the high priest and greets him, saying he heard he was called. The high priest acknowledges Diane's arrival and suggests they sit comfortably and talk. The high priest inquires of Priest Dien about the duration of his service to the gods. Dien responds that it has been 20 years. The high priest laughs, remarking on the swiftness of time, suggesting that it might be because Dien arrived earlier than others. He muses that looking at Dien often makes him forget how time has passed and expresses his surprise at how quickly the 20 years have gone by. The high priest casually brings up the news, asking Priest Dien if he has heard it as well. Dien confirms that he has, reflecting to himself that there must have been intense debates caused by differences in social status. The high priest then suggests that there is no need for an extended discussion. Dien thinks to himself that this is good. Finally, the high priest expresses his hope that Dien will take care of that person, leaving Dien puzzled. Dien seeks clarification from the high priest, asking who he is referring to by that person. The high priest confirms that he is indeed talking about the future saint. Dien, taken aback, questions if the high priest is referring to him at this very moment. Dien knocks on Baby's room, politely asking for a moment of her time. However, when Dien enters the room, he finds that Baby has already fled. Baby, determined to leave, thinks to herself that she must escape the place to possibly reunite with Violetta, who she believes wouldn't abandon her because of their promise. She ponders which way to go to leave and feels the urgency to escape quickly before the scary people notice her. But just then, Baby collides with Dien and falls, exclaiming in pain. Dien, noticing her fall, addresses her with concern.